Just say 1, 2, 3.
1, 2, 3.
Try it again.
1, 2, 3.
I am, yeah. Your tongue as if you're dying. Do I? Yeah. Oh, I got one of those. You look tired. Well, I am that.
Yeah, me
And it's
too.
online, of course.
Yes, yeah,
I
actually.
don't know, we use somebody for actually taking.
Yeah, for the notes.
Because of the
Yeah, I have it on the phone.
removal
Yeah,
on
this was-
Thursday and the people who are
and anything you say will be heard. We'll go out on it, okay? Mary has a microphone, it just gives her a bit more clarity that she's the primary speaker. But everybody else will just pick up as we go. And we've one camera here that will give the whiteboard on Mary, and we have a camera here to just catch the rest of us.
Thank you.
And perhaps just ask people to speak up if they're sharing anything, so that we can all hear.
Yes, within the room, true.
Within the room, yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
Will I close the door then?
Yeah, do endorse. So will I welcome you, Mary?
By all means, okay. Perfectly fine.
Anyway, thank you very much indeed for coming to be with us this morning. We very much appreciate when you give your time and your expertise to share with us. Mary was with us at our last committee meeting as well when we were planning this. So she has given a good bit of time in person and being with us, and also in planning when she was putting things together. So we really do appreciate the time and the effort that you've put into that. And I'm glad, of course, that all of you stayed as well. It'll be a very quiet meeting if it was only yourself and me. And also the people online, it's great to have some people joining us. And we want to include you as well, so please feel free to join in. We want to hear what you have to say as well. Okay, thank you, Mary.
Thank you. So good afternoon, everybody.
So it's a pleasure to be with you. I'm delighted to be here, and thank you for the welcome as well. So I sent out the agenda, you probably got it, but just to recall really the mission statement of Orla. So Orla in the City is an evolving, inclusive and welcoming Christian community. In coming together, we share our life experience and hear, reflect and are nourished by a deeper understanding of the Word of God and Eucharist. And so we encounter one another in love, joy and Eucharist. And the purpose of Orla, which is the purpose of Orla in the City community, is to bring people's experience of life with a deeper understanding of the gospel to renew them for the times in which we live. So Bernadette has just opened the AGM. We'll just gather with a hymn and a short prayer. Then we'll look at the nominations for new committee members. We'll go through the different task groups and see if there's enough membership of them and if you need to increase that membership or people want to come off. We'll have a statement of finance from Jerry, and then safeguarding health and safety, just legally that just has to be mentioned, so we'll just mention that. Then there's two proposals, one for ex officio members, the review of the Constitution, we'll go through that, and then review of liturgical practice, and then somebody proposed looking at Orla going public about the Eucharistic celebration, and we'll close the meeting by 2:30 at the latest. We might finish a bit earlier. If we do, that'll be great too. So there's a lot to cover in a very short time, so we'll try and go through it as quickly as possible without also people feeling that they have something to say as well. We'll honour that. We'll try and keep that balance. Is that okay? So if we just take a moment just to bring ourselves here after our tea and coffee and chat, and just be aware of God's presence with us. And we'll just gather with this hymn that you're all probably familiar with, We Need Each Other. So we call on God's blessing for the AGM, and that we would open our hearts and minds to God's wisdom and spirit. So we move on to look at the nominations for the committee. So Bernadette's just going to explain the background to the committee, the number of people that you can have on it, minimum and maximum. Yeah.
Well, we can have 11 on the committee, and we have 2 ex officio members. We did have 3, but as you know, John is no longer with us, so it's just Kieran and myself who are sort of that you're stuck with, maybe. And we have about 8 at the moment. Chrissy hasn't been with us for some time because Chrissy isn't well. Dipna, of course, on the committee, but Dipna is out of commission too at the moment. So we could do with another 2 or 3 members on the committee. As you know, we have meetings kind of once a month, and we talk about important things, like who's on the tea and coffee, for example. So we talk about things to do with the group. We talk about money that we might donate to particular charities. The things that you all know about, we talk about those things. We try to come to some decisions on behalf of the group, and then now and then we have to bring things to the group to get the wider consensus.
So you'll see that really from the minutes that you get every month as well. Is there anybody who wants to come off the committee that's on it?
That's good news.
That's good. So maybe anybody like to nominate anyone then, or volunteer to go on? Yeah.
I have 2 nominations
Okay, Catherine.
to go on the committee. Eileen is one.
Okay.
And Anne Hart-Barry, the other. Excellent. And I have discussed it with them. They're not getting frights.
They're not getting what? Fright.
They're not getting a fright.
Fright.
You've already asked them, have you?
Yeah.
Just put up. Are you happy to accept those?
Fine, yeah.
So formally, can somebody second them then?
Seconded.
Thanks, Carla. Both of them. Both of them. That's great. On Zoom, do you want to nominate anybody? Are you happy with that? Eileen and Anne Hart-Barry coming on the committee. Is that okay for everyone? I take it is. Yeah. Well, that's great. So, welcome to.
I don't know. I can't.
Maria
Is Marie trying to say something?
Okay, Marie, can you unmute yourself?
Just unmute.
Did we miss the turn?
Unmute.
And that's the camera, that's
Maria's still muted.
Can you unmute yourself if you can to talk, please, Marie?
Maria.
Maria, we can't hear you. Oh, great, thank you, that's fine, thanks.
Those online who can't be with us ever are equally welcome to be on the committee. Wants to join us, so the likes of Antonio and Catherine Ali and
Because we meet online, so
So maybe.
anyway.
So we'll enough for now, and maybe we can bear that in mind in the future, just to make sure that they're aware that they can be on the committee. Is that okay? Yeah. So we can take that as passed then.
Can the committee co-opt in the course of the year if they want?
Yes.
yeah.
People with expertise of some sort. Is that what you mean?
I was thinking of somebody online if we
Oh,
did want to
sorry,
get our act together today that could be done.
Yeah. Or if somebody comes off during the year for some reason or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, Mary came and joined us for our last committee meeting, for example, in order to first to discuss this.
But I wasn't part of the committee.
No, but you were co-opted as an expert.
I was just present at the meeting. So we're going to move on now to look at the task groups.
And we have a number of them up there, as you can see. Welcome and doorkeeping, setting up the room, the altar preparation, IT group live streaming, catering, tea, coffee, coordination of the liturgy, scheduling, and then collection, counting money, and that group. So the welcome and doorkeeping, maybe somebody'd like to speak to that, I think, is it Larkin? And if you need extra members for that, yeah.
Yes, that's going quite well. We do have we work a rota on a 2-month basis, and I'm just, the way it operates is I'm just getting together the March and April one now. But we have a good number of people, but I'd always be open, or we would always be open to new people volunteering. It might only mean that you would have to do the door once in 2 months. That could be the kind of commitment.
Do you have enough at the moment?
We have enough, yes,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
we're always open to more.
Yeah, yeah. So if anybody wants to, but I'm just, for the moment I'm looking at groups that don't have enough to see, maybe to increase them, and then we can go back and see if anybody wants to. Is that okay? Yeah. So setting up the room. Is it Larry does that, is it? Yeah.
There's no formal group for that.
Yeah, so I think the committee felt it would be good to have at least some that would take responsibility for that, and then you can add more people to it.
And that's a very difficult task in a way, because it means moving chairs. So of course it requires a certain amount of strength to be able to do that. And it falls usually to the first people who turn up. And people genuinely do come early in order to do that. But I don't know how we can resolve that. I mean, Noel hasn't been here for a while. He's usually very involved. Paul's involved. Larry's involved.
We could keep it informal for the moment and just let people say, I'll come early next week to help set up. You know, just that type of way.
Is there any one person that would take that on, even to ask that at the meeting, you know, to see who'd come early next week? If even one person that would take on just that task. If not, then it'll have to become part of the end of Eucharist to see who'll do it. Yeah.
I'm happy to, if it involves putting a message out on the group WhatsApp. I'm usually involved in helping source readers. So I'm here a lot of Sundays, not every one, but I would be happy to put out a message on WhatsApp. Now, whether it involves setting up a separate group, but if it does, it means it can't be available to everybody. So I'm happy to put a message out on WhatsApp just to say who might be able to come in good time to set up.
Okay, thanks, Mary. Thank you. Is that okay with everybody?
But you yourself can't be one of the people to start to bring in chairs.
Oh no, I just go to my back actually to move. Yeah.
No, I don't think so.
Okay, well we can discuss that later. Yeah. So the altar preparation then is the next one. Yeah.
Well, Mary does that regularly. I live very near. Now I'm not offering for the setting up of the room because it's very physical and I don't have huge energy. But I don't mind coming in early, so I'm sure Mary loves her job, but I'm very willing to
be part of the team.
Yes. And Sheila also has been involved.
And Sheila and Mary are the two, and yourself.
Yeah.
Are the three people who've been involved in the altar setting up.
Well, I spoke to Mary about it a couple of weeks ago, and she has been under pressure to, if she's going away with Joe, to make sure so maybe it would be an idea for you to actually
She knows.
No, I'm just saying what Mary said.
Yeah.
That an idea to have a rota that you could call, like a WhatsApp thing, rather than her the week before. This is where she was, like,
I know.
would you be available? You know, so that's not fair on Mary. No, she comes, and if Joe comes, that's fine. But just to kind of make it less pressure for her, if it was formalised. Do you not think?
So can we formalise that as the altar preparation group then, Mary, Carmel and Sheila?
I'm very happy with that.
Yeah.
Who's going to set up this WhatsApp? I'll give it a go. I'm not the techiest of people, but I'll give it a go, and I think it's
I'm not sure
Could you have a conversation with Mary next week when she's back?
See what she needs.
Have an intentional conversation with her about the support.
Certainly.
Yeah.
That'd be better.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean what's up.
Sure, no problem.
So that it's a formal group of 3 now for the autumn preparation. That okay?
Yeah.
Thanks.
It's, sorry, we do have 2 Sheilas in the group, so Sheila we're talking about is the Irish version.
It's the
S-I-L-E.
S-I-L-E.
The other Sheila isn't here now, in person.
You're right, sorry, S-I-L-E.
And the IT group live streaming.
Yeah, so there's a number of areas in that, but the live streaming piece, the Zoom piece, 25% of the people who come here are involved in it. So we've 10 involved. So I think we're in a healthy space, particularly as we're training in a number of we got 3 new people recently and we're training them in. So we're in a reasonably healthy space there. The website is another piece that's in there, and there's Chrissy and myself, but Chrissy hasn't been able to work on it now for a length of time. So we could do with another person who would be familiar with, or would like to become involved in just managing a website. It isn't difficult. It looks more difficult than it is. But if one is used to using a computer and doing Word or PowerPoint or whatever, then very easily adapt over to updating a website. So there's the website and the newsletter, or the email that goes out. It's not onerous, but it equally shouldn't be on, I'm the only one doing it at the moment, and it shouldn't be on only one person. Father John rightly looked to expand it, and it was Chrissy and myself, so now it's me, and that's not right. You know, if something happens to me,
It's a vulnerability.
it's a vulnerability. Yeah. Single points of failure we used to refer to them as when I was in the IT area. So I'm a SPOF, single point of failure.
And any of the Zoomers can volunteer for that as well, can't they?
And they can indeed, yeah. And then Joseph and myself and Antonia helped prepare the leaflets. So in this weekend, for instance, Anne did all the work on the leaflet and just sent it then for printing. Others send in just the concept, and Joseph, myself, or Antonia put the leaflet together. Antonia obviously doesn't print it, but then Joseph or I print it. So that's the kind of the 3 IT-related areas that are involved. And
so it's really for the website you're looking for help.
probably the website is the vulnerable one at the moment. Yes. I'm flying off to the States, and God forbid something happens.
So does anybody volunteer to support the website?
Before I go to the States.
And you train them in?
I train them in, yeah. It is straightforward.
Yeah.
And if
Maria, are you trying to say, can you unmute yourself?
She's unmuted.
Yeah.
I think I'm unmuted.
Yes.
If I'm not able to connect to being there in person, but if it's something that's not too difficult to learn, I'm willing to learn. Sometime I'm in Dublin, Paul. You know, to be a part of a team to help out on the computer. I can use the computer wherever I am. You know.
Perfect. I'll get in touch with you.
Thanks, Maria.
Thank Maria. And you don't need to be in Dublin. We'll do it online. It's all online. So.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you. So is that okay now for you, Paul?
Yeah, that's one extra will help greatly. Yeah.
And then the catering, tea and coffee.
No, at the moment I'm the coordinator, so in numbers we're fine. But I did suggest that I'd like to hand over the coordinating to someone. If there's somebody willing to do it, if not, I'm fine.
So am I hearing you do it? But if somebody would take it from you, I'd be happy to.
I'd be very happy. Yeah.
Okay. So any volunteers to take over the coordinating? Will you take over? Thanks.
Yeah.
Yes, so So Betty's the new coordinator. Yes.
Yeah. Well,
You are Betty.
there,
I'm going to get the big money now, I bet.
Thanks, Betty. That's great. Yeah.
You'll be flying off to America as well.
You didn't tell me that. Yeah. And you have enough on the group. That's
it goes
great.
very well. We have 8 flags, so it's only once every 2 months that you're on.
Oh, great.
People swap around.
So will you coordinate our
Yeah, hand over.
with Betty? That's great. Thanks.
Thanks.
So then we're moving on to the coordination of liturgy scheduling.
Bernadette, you're going to say something, because Noel does it, but you're going to say something about that.
Yes, well, as we all know, it's a very important task, and in some ways, it's the most difficult task, because you have to get celebrants, you have to get the priests to come. We've been very fortunate with our connections with Anne and Anne, that we've had Martin Kelly this morning, and with Michael Brown as well, which were excellent. And we have Colin McGlynn, who's very willing to come, and it has been great, I think. And Kieran has offered to do 2 Sundays.
And Dearman.
And Dermot America, yes. But Kieran has offered to do 2 Sundays. I don't know if you want to say anything about that, but in a month. And then we have our LLL, which is our lay-led liturgy, and we certainly don't want to lose that. We want to keep that as part of what we do, even if we have celebrants, if you know what I mean. So it's, Noel is way ahead of the posse when it comes to this list. I think the last date I have down here is the 7th of June. Now, we don't have something before the 7th of June, but it's down here. The last person we have, the 24th of May, with Brian and Aring down to do an LLL. And I think the rest was right up to the 24th of May.
It's filled.
Yeah.
That's great. But again, it's very dependent on one person, so there's a vulnerability then if they're
organised.
Yes, so is there anybody that would join Noel, 1 or 2 maybe that would join Noel?
I wouldn't mind working with Noel.
Oh, great, thanks then.
Noel is very easy to work with.
Do you think one extra would be enough?
I don't know.
Well, he usually communicates with me, of course, about it a good bit.
Would you want to continue, Bernadette?
No, yes, but I'd be very happy for you as well, and because
So that's 3.
connections.
Well, that's fine then, we 3, that seems...
If those 3 work on a process, then at least, and then we can expand it if necessary.
We'll give Noel still the kind of overall, and we can help as much or as little.
That's
Bernadette, can I just ask something?
Yes, of course.
Yeah, I don't know if you took the idea further at all about the people online presiding, or co-presiding also. Did you ever discuss that further, that idea of us joining, preparing the liturgy with one of the priests? Or
What is it? I can't.
Yes, it's possible.
Tony was asking, can somebody online co-present with the priest?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes.
But we haven't really formalised it.
No, but we have said that already, that could happen. That could happen.
We did discuss it.
We did discuss it. We did.
I suppose then maybe the question on Tony's behalf then is, has Noel or you, Bernadette, actually gone to people on, you come in and around the tea room twisting arms, have you twisted any online arms? No, so maybe that's,
anyway,
so then we need to do that, we need to include the online people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
maybe just to take a note of that maybe as well, just that would be...
So, take a note that you would be approached as well, Antonio, those online, is that okay?
But just to check with Paul too, whether that's feasible.
Yes, he said it is.
Technically it can work.
Yes.
Yes, it is.
We have agreed that. We agreed that.
It might be easier to trial that out with the lay-led liturgy than with the liturgy led with the priest.
No, I don't think...
Well, just because of the sort of 3-way coordination to be required.
Perhaps, perhaps.
That's when you come back from America.
Yes, it probably need to be here on that first one.
We are dependent, of course, on the celebrant being willing to do that, of course, for somebody.
Not just willing, I think some of them, like say Michael Brown now, wouldn't.
No.
I don't mean wouldn't be able, but like.
I know what you mean.
He find it difficult, and even Martin, I would say. So, try Kieran first.
Kieran, can we put you on the spot? Would you be okay with that?
Who was this?
Kieran?
Yes.
That's great. Well, Antonio, it is possible.
Yeah.
It will be tried out, and Kieran is very happy to be, can I dare use the word guinea pig to see how it goes?
Pilot.
Pilot, that's all pilot. Pilot, yeah.
Brave, very brave.
Yeah. So for the coordination of the district, then we've Noel, Bernadette and Hart Barry, and to remember to also approach people online. And for the first trial, Kieran is very happy to pilot that. So, yeah, thank you. And the last one then we have is the collection counting money group. I think at the moment there's only one doing that.
And even I think counting money now, by all standards, you need to have a two. So, Jerry, you're with that. Are you on part of that? Are you the one that does it?
Yeah.
He doesn't count money.
Totally cutting myself off from anything from collecting money and stuff like that. I want an absolute barrier between me.
Okay, yeah.
For
So,
obvious reasons.
sure, then we need two people to volunteer to be on that.
I've been doing that. The counting, I turn up on each Sunday. I just ask someone who's available to stay with me while I was.
So if we can formalise it a bit, Larry, that there are actually two, would be good.
Well, you've always had two, Larry, but it hasn't been a nominated person in advance.
Yeah.
It's whoever is available on the day. And do you want to keep it that way, or would you prefer to have more?
It's probably easier that someone just will I grab someone.
Just another person, another.
But if Larry isn't there, you need to have somebody.
Yeah, but if Larry's not there?
Yeah.
So who does it if Larry isn't? Who do you get if you're not going to be here next Sunday?
Anyone, but I think Joe or
Would anybody be willing to take that if Larry isn't there to do the counting with them?
I'm happy to do that. I have done it when Larry hasn't been there.
Yeah.
But maybe it should be somebody else, not me.
No.
Again, you get another person. You get a second person then to yeah.
So you and Larry are the main counters.
Or like that.
And the process, you must get another person to count along with them.
Okay, fine.
Yeah, that's really important.
Yeah. We're in the money.
So I think we just go over those, so the Lorcans on doorkeeping and welcoming, there's enough on that. Setting up the room, Miriam is going to coordinate in the sense to make sure that there's somebody there that's aware of it. The altar preparation, then Mary, Keithy and Carmen and Sheila are going to make a formal group of 3 there. IT group live streaming, there's 10 volunteers, but Marie is now going to join the website. For catering, tea and coffee, Betty's replacing Eileen as the coordinator. And then for coordination of liturgy schedule, you have Anne, Noel and Bernadette. And also to remember to invite people online to co-present, and Kieran is happy to do the first one there. And then for the money counting, it's Larry or Bernadette plus another. So we okay with all that?
Yeah, that's great.
Sorry, just Mary, Maria here online.
Yeah. Yes.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
It went through the tea and coffee thing quickly. I used to be on that, but I can't commit to always being in Dublin. But I'm willing to help out when I'm there early and to help prepare for the tea and coffee and the machines and that. So I'll be involved unofficially, if you like.
Great. Thanks, Marie. Thank you. Thanks very much, Marie. Thank you. So now we're going to move on to, I know every month you get the financial statement, but part of an AGM is actually just to have a formal statement of finance. So Jerry, you're going to say something about that.
Yeah, if I could just, I think this is important. I know it's being truncated now, so I will cut down to little as I want. just the main points here. If I can use this.
Of course.
Just remind people that the financial year starts on the 1st of the 11th, 24 to the 31st of the 10th, yes, 25. Okay, so that's the period we're talking about. Now you can get one of these statements which covers all the income and all the expenditure. Every penny is accounted for. So I just wanted to give a different view. I think it's kind of some important news that you kind of need to hear. Now, the two sources of income we have is the money box out there and the what you call the
direct debits.
The direct debits, yes, okay. The standing orders, right? Now, the again, I'm rushing through this now. The box, shall we call it, right? Okay. The amount of that varies significantly. There's a huge variance in the amount that comes in. The highest was 617, and the lowest was 85. That's a huge variance in that, okay? Whereas the standing orders, and the standing orders you would think is constant from month to month, but it's not. It varies slightly, but not as much. The lowest standing orders was 270 in February and August, and the highest was 320. So it's that for me covers our rent. You know, the rent here is 50 per. Okay, right. So I'll try through this now. The next thing is the total income coming in on standing orders was 3,515. 3,515. Now there was a gift from Catherine Alley, right, which added another 1,000. We got another 1,000 from her, which is very generous of her altogether. But that colours the final result in terms of the finances. This is not a gift you're going to get every year, so it distorts the figure a little bit. The total we received from the collection box was very similar, 3,682. Kind of cover that again in a second, right? The top the top figure was, we started off with 12,669.26, and we ended up with 13,598.31. Okay, so that looks good in one sense, but don't forget the Catherine Alley effect in that as well. There was 1,000 came in this year. That's not going to come in every year, and that's for the 30th of October 25. We're now in February 26, and the next monthly report, I have it ready, but I can tell you that the balance on that now is so we ended up at the end of the year with 13,000 in this, okay? The balance now is 11,602.97. So to fall, right? There are checks outstanding, so I expect that the next one will be about 10,000 or so. You know, so it is. So I think this is an important message to go out there in terms of the finances. And I was checking back over the years, you know, when you go back to 17, 18, 19, whatever it was, 20, 21, that our finances were in an awful lot more healthy situation, right? From 17, 18, you were talking about a balance of 20,000. It peaked in June 20, June 20 at 29,000. And 95.38. That's nearly 3 times of what our balance. You know, if it comes in at 10,000, that's nearly 3 times as what it was. You know. So we just need to be aware of that, and probably we need to look at items of expenditure and maybe a little bit of cutting back. Now, the final thing I wanted to talk about today, again this is kind of truncated, was the charity aspect, which I think is very important in this group. Okay, so there were 3 charity collections. There was one in December. Now this is December 24, not December 25, which we just got through. So the collection in December was 580, and we added 500 on to it to give us 1,080, right? There was, that was Vincent de Paul. There was one for Trocra in, I haven't the month, I think it was Trocra collection would be March, April, okay. So we'll say March, April, I'm not too sure. So the Trocra collection was 600, to which we added another 500 to give us 1100, of course. and there is the Good Shepherd Sisters. I know some more will be said on this later on, but the Good Shepherd, the Good Shepherd Sisters, the charity total, we sent them 1,200 during the year, but it cost us 148.50 to send that. So the total bill in that, which is a lot actually if you think of it, isn't it? It came to the total thing in that was 1,348.50. Okay, so well, I think that this is important because it kind of shows that what we are doing on the charity front, you know. So the total that Orla gave in charity was 3,768.50, which I think is very impressive from this group. You know, 3,768.50, I think is a very impressive figure. And I was going to say more, but that's it. That's right.
That's helpful, yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
What do you think is the reason that we've come from 20,000 down to 10,000?
Yeah,
you must have.
I have an ideas about that, but I'd like to leave it to you know, a monthly meeting and we discuss it among ourselves. If that's okay, yeah.
By next AGM, by
well, I have there's one little controversial thing that I'd like to say. Yeah. Okay.
But I know 2 years ago we gave when one of the wars started, we gave significant 5,000 or 10,000 over the year to charities. You know, so.
Yeah. Okay, but I'm just saying, just going back to this again, going back, it used to be 29,000, and I know it could be around 10,000 to the next. So maybe it's just, you know, something that we need to
I'm just asking you, because I'm saying maybe 2.5 years here, have you lost a large number of people who contribute? I don't know what the pattern is.
Yes, well,
we've lost one person. We did have one big contributor to our funds who isn't part of our group anymore.
Okay, so that's right. There has to be a reason, and one must look at trends to plan for the future.
That's the whole point.
And to change, we must constantly adapt. Okay, that's significant for me.
And can I just ask as well, is it not the case that we have greater outgoings because of remuneration to
it could be,
celebrants?
It could be.
Which wouldn't have been...
Which wasn't there before.
Which wasn't there before. So John and Kieran were celebrating every Sunday and there wasn't an outgoing. Whereas now we have to reach out.
That was what I was going to say. I think we need to talk about.
But it's another explanation for why...
Why not refer to it here? There's nothing... There's nothing private here.
Well, I have... Okay. Right. But the thing is that we are very grateful to have these priests coming to us. We're very thankful, and they're a scarce resource. So I don't like, you know, they're coming here and we're giving them money. They're not asking for it, and they never asked, you know, how much we're to give them. But I would feel, like you will note that in the reports, I never put down the names of the priests that we.
And that's okay, but it's important just to say that, I mean, I'm not sure why you're being cautious about it. It's important to say that every time there's a priest here, we offer them 100.
Not every one of them takes the
Only one doesn't take, the others all take.
So that accounts for 2,500 over the year.
300 a month. 300 a month. We have 3 priests, so we give €100 to.
Okay, so that's.
And what is the room a month, just to get an idea about it?
€50 a week.
That's 200.
So that's
500 a month before you put the kettle on, like.
Correct.
As I said, one must be running a business like.
But that's a new piece, since John's death. And some care.
No, that's important, I think, for us to know that, because I think one must feel it's part of maturity and we live, even Jesus said that whose face is on the coin, we live within an economy where there's nothing wrong with it, money isn't a dirty word, we just have to plan sensibly for it and how we use the money.
Can I ask, I'm hopeless with figures now, so forgive me, because are we living within our means, or are we living off our home?
We're living on our lump sum to a certain extent.
To a certain extent.
Yeah.
Mostly for charity, would it be right to say?
Yes, but I think that's very worthwhile.
Yeah,
personally, I think it's very worthwhile and it's worth it.
But I suppose that there's a certain amount of a lump sum that we need to keep for protection.
Yeah.
But there is also a part of the lump sum that it is good that we're using it for charity.
Oh yeah, I thought that was quite significant.
So long as we're not coming too close on the balancing of the bottom line every year.
You're not liable, really.
Yeah.
And what's too close to see? What is? I mean, we have 10,000 in the bank.
Yeah.
You know, what's too close?
Okay.
Is 5,000 too close? Is 2,000 too close? You know, what's...
Well, if we're faced with having to find alternative accommodation, if for some reason the community here isn't operating in the same way, we would certainly possibly would need a greater sum to pay rental.
Can I make a suggestion that conversation is for the committee to talk about and feed back to the community rather than have it here? You've got the financial statement now. It has raised some questions that I suggest the committee discuss. Is that okay?
And to come back to the community, that it's continued after a mass.
Sorry, Summer, I think, can I talk? I think that it is important that we have some kind of a feedback from the general group, because the committee need to hear that background. For example, money, and I've always, when you're doing your budget, it's a sign of values. What do you value? And so there are a number of questions. For example, how important is it to have celebrants as much as possible? And I'm saying this because the background that most people who come to Orla also have connections with the parish and will go to regular mass at the parish. That's the impression I get anyway. So how much of our budget do we want to spend on celebrants? And equally, how much do we want to operate within the money that we collect by the people who attend, whether that's direct debit or in the box, and should that money be ring-fenced and then do a budget on that with projections and things as you would do with a household budget? So I think that it would be good to get some feedback so that the committee is not acting in what I would consider to be a vacuum without having some ideas put forward in terms of values and policies about how the money is spent that are from the wider community and the committee.
Can I just
also bearing in mind that the group is probably going to get smaller
and
smaller as we get older, because we're not apparently attracting many younger people. I mean, it's wonderful to have you, Anne. And I hope you've loads of money. And and I think what Patricia is saying, I think, do we sit down and make a budget for the year? I think that's a very realistic thing to do. So kind of an actuarial thing.
Can I just make one point, and Miriam has stated it already, and I was going to talk about that, but this location here, and what we get for €50 a time is unbelievable, right? Because you've got this thing, you've got the breakout rooms, you've got the heating and lighting that must cost an awful lot as well, and we've got parking. There's so much, for €50 you're not going to get that anywhere. So in terms of how much money should we keep in the pot, as it were, that would have to be a consideration as well.
Yeah, although that's unknowable. We can't know that. That isn't something that we will know in advance. I mean, how much longer this place will be available to us.
Keep an emergency fund to
So
cover.
do people feel that budgeting would be good, to have an annual budget?
So living within your limit for the year.
Something about contingency planning. Contingency for our ending is part of the contingency for our living. So there is a bit of thought around that, because you can project somewhat, like if we were to go to Margaret Aylward or something, they will have a rate, and that rate, that gives you some idea. So I think that's kind of important. And the second piece is about charity, our own charity status, because we're earning more than I thought, more than I thought. And I think it's under 20,000 they do have charity status. So for the likes of Brian and I, who are still earning, do you know what I mean? You would get double. And we always pay attention to that when we're giving to, which ones can get more from our book. So I think it also might be able to offer others that. Think about our charity status. That's what I was wondering. Can we?
I thought we were we not?
We were in Orla.
Orla was, but we lost it then.
Oh, okay.
And also holding your mission, when you look at what you're changing, what's your mission saying, and what your purpose saying as well.
Excellent.
So there is a bit of paperwork to register as a charity.
And an awful lot of work to do it when you belong to a charity.
Yeah.
But
so for example, one of the consequences of that is I never contribute to the collection for the Vincent de Paul or Troker here, because I contribute directly to them and they have charitable status.
So they get more.
So they get the tax back on it.
And the same with Troker and some of those, you know what I'm saying? But I did send Jerry a Carmichael House. They are dealing with large, medium and small charities, a document, and I thought that could be used as part of the consideration.
I don't know, but there's huge implications in being a charity.
Yeah, of course. I know accountability and transparency and all of that, but it's okay. I just wanted to be thought about.
If we could get somebody who's in a charity to come and talk to us about that, what do you need in terms of the legal and the accounting, that's what does it
So could I, for 300...
No, but do you want to?
For an average of 300 a month coming in through direct debits or standing orders, that's the only thing you can apply your charity to, isn't it?
Yeah. Yes.
So that's 3,600. So therefore, is it only people who are in employment, or anybody paying tax?
Anybody paying tax.
Anybody paying tax. So you'd have to just assess that.
If I could just on that.
And it has to be more than 250.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, in the year.
So there really wouldn't, on direct debit, that would be anyone, if anyone was paying 21.
So you should look at anybody paying over 20 on a direct debit, how many of those there are, and then that will at least give you a sense of the value of what you might get if you were to apply for charity.
The other tax efficient way, of course, is to leave a bequest in your will.
Hello?
Yes?
I looked to set up a charity for my World War I veterans groupings, and it's very, very bureaucratic. And in addition to having to set up the charity, there's also considerable work afterwards, the filing of annual returns, directors, finance, documents, and to give you a good idea of what it might be like, you can go onto the charity's regulatory website.
Okay.
The work after setting it up is considerable, and there's a lot of duties, accountability and transparency, as has already been said by Irene.
So have we discussed this enough?
Yeah, I think so.
Take things further. Okay, all right. Yeah. So again, as an AGM, we have to.
Can we just note in the minutes to thank Sherry for all his hard work?
Sorry, it's very difficult online if you're all speaking at once.
Noted. Thank you, Sylvain.
Thank you.
So Jerry, again, thank you from the.
Yes.
So health and safety and safeguarding are also part.
Before we finish funding, are we going to look at Article 8?
No, it's next. It's on the agenda.
Oh, sorry, it is. We are going to
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So the next item on the agenda is safeguarding and health and safety. And Bernadette and Kieran are your two reps. And just to confirm, there hasn't been any reporting. So that's
everybody's okay.
Nothing came to me.
Thanks. So the next one, we're moving on then to proposals. And there's a proposal that Bernadette was just talking from the Article 7. Do you want to say something about that, Bernadette?
Well, yeah, the funding, I'm sure you have it all off by heart on the Constitution. Well, Article 8, under funding, it says that the funding of the community is provided through the donations of the members. Any member of the community, other than members of the committee, shall be entitled to apply to the committee for community funds in relation to a charitable cause. Anybody can ask for that. The maximum amount of any donation the committee can approve for any single applicant or charitable cause should not exceed €1,000 in a calendar year. The maximum amount of all donations to all charitable causes that the committee can approve shall not exceed 3,000 in a calendar year. Now we have already exceeded 3,000 in a calendar year. We've already contravened what we have in our constitution. In the event of a requirement to exceed these amounts, the approval of a majority of the community is required.
So the proposal is that the €1,000 be raised to 2,000 for a single donation,
and that the limit of 3,000 be changed to 5,000 for all donations to charitable causes in a single year. So how are you about raising 1,000 to 2,000 for the single year?
Is it premature? Is it premature to get a financial oversight of the whole situation?
It is and it isn't. The fact that we give in excess of 1,200 to the Good Shepherd systems, we're breaking this already. So I think we should increase it to the 2,000 and 5,000, but then also have the conversation about how we proceed. And perhaps it's saying no more giving until we've had that conversation, perhaps, but allow the change.
Because we've already done so.
Can I ask, you know, the contributions that we make, I mean, I know the ones that we give in excess out of our fund, that's fine. But the ones that people give at Christmas and Easter for Trócaire and for whatever else, Vincent Paul, I mean, could they be just collected separately and not be put through the accounts?
They're not counted in that sense. Are they?
Well,
oh, sorry, yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? If there was a box for Trócaire and a box for St. Vincent de Paul, and you add to it from what you want, but would that be a simpler way?
Well, what we have normally done is we've collected for those charities and we've said, when we collect, say, 500, we'll put another 500 to it.
That's okay. But we're accounting in our account, it's inflating our charity figures when you combine them in the accounts. I'm only talking about an accounting thing, you know?
Or how would
What's the point?
No, you wouldn't. You'd have to account for it.
Okay, so at the moment, you're saying that at the moment, if we say next weekend is for Vincent de Paul, and people put 500 into the box, then you record that, Jared, as 500 income, and then we add 500, so now 1,000 goes out to the charity.
That's what's happening.
So that's what's happening. Anne is suggesting that if the 500 was not accounted into your income, then you would only be paying 500 to the charity, so you wouldn't be running into these thresholds in the same way.
And increasing the thresholds.
Just be aware of one voice because people are so
Do you get what I'm saying, Jerry?
I'm not really, no.
You see, in a way, we're not paying, if we're paying €1,000, in a way we're not paying €1,000 out of our funds, we're paying 500 out of our funds. I think it's skewing our accounts when we put it in that way. No?
If we have just one voice, sorry, and you just come to me because otherwise they can't hear.
Okay.
And I thought Jerry was already separating them, and that the what came
was donated for a charity, it doesn't go through our accounts.
Well, no, it all goes through, but I was just separating them from the point of view of just to see out of the total how much goes to charities. I think it's a tremendous figure. I think.
Sounds like it's easier to change it to 2,000 because then it simplifies it for Jerry. He just collects and puts it in.
It just contravenes what we've written down. That's really
that's what I'm saying.
But can I just say, for example, we gave Vincent de Paul 1,500, but in actual fact we collected, what was it, 895.
But that's this year, yes.
This year we collected 895 euro.
Yes.
So we were going to give them 1,000, which would have meant only giving them 15 euro from our accounts. But we decided, because the collection was so good, that we would give them 500 on top of the 895. So we gave them 515 on top of that, which made it 1,500. But 895 of that was collected.
Yes, of course.
Can I ask you, would you propose a vote on the motion of increasing the figures? And also, as a rider to that, Jerry, maybe you talk to the accountant consultant, Jim's nephew, I think, just about whether there's any advice that can be given and how we, as a group, manage those contributions. But I don't think we can sort that out here with the level of knowledge we have about accounting procedures. That maybe, would that be a possibility?
But the bottom line is that we take this money in and it's lodged to our bank account, and I write a check for the full amount.
So it looks like it's coming out of our funds.
So it is, legally it's coming through our accounts.
Yeah, I think that's, so just changing the numbers, I propose.
Could I suggest that it be done like I am responsible for collecting for Trócaire, and it's nothing to do with Worley in the city, but I'm telling you, I'm having this collection for Trócaire. You all put your cash in or whatever you want to do, and I take it and I lodge it into the Trócaire directly.
That would work very well.
I think so.
Yeah.
And you could give her a check to top it up.
Yes.
I think that was, it's clear.
So we don't record that.
No,
as our income.
clear.
I can understand.
That's not an ORA income, it's a personal contribution towards somebody who's collecting for Trócaire.
And Vincent de Paul then as well.
And if anybody has got an arrangement with either of those charities, they can be the person and then they get the tax advantage, presumably. Maybe not.
No,
I
go directly.
Oh, sorry, I'm confusing things, Carmel. I get it.
But I think that's the point I was trying to make.
That's right. That's a good
There is a proposal that the limit be lifted.
Are you turning down that proposal now, or are you voting for it or against it?
I think in terms of what the arrangements we've come to with Antonia and with the Good Shepherd Sisters, I think we've crossed that threshold already, apart and all from what's happening with Trócaire. So I think we have to.
We have to change it. We have to change it. We really have to change it.
So can I show of hands from a single one
from 1,000 to 2,000?
Yeah.
And then all online, and then from the numerous charity, then going from 3 to 5.
No, I don't propose that we look at all of that until we see how we rework the charity payments.
Yeah, but you see, you've gone already beyond it with Antonio.
No, we don't.
Not for this year.
Not in the year we don't. Not in the year we don't.
So
we have already gone beyond it.
But then we shouldn't have. And
we have.
Yeah, but then we won't for this coming year.
Just make it right.
So we're just saying that 1,000 to 2,000 has been passed, and the 3 to 5 is passed.
Okay. For the moment. Okay.
Well, so does it not have to be changed if you have lodged it in the bank?
Well, if it goes into our bank
It's
account,
in the bank already.
yeah, and the check is good.
No, we're talking about the current year. We're talking about the current year.
We're only beginning the current year.
Which year are we talking about?
So we can retrospectively offer forgiveness for the exceeding of the values last year.
But he has the Christmas.
No, that's done. That's last year.
That was 24.
No,
That was 20.
This year.
Christmas this year.
This is 25.
October.
in December,
Yes.
yes, current year,
That's
right.
we gave you money for Troker, which is in the bank.
Correct.
Yes.
And you will have to take it out of the bank to check or something.
Yes.
So therefore,
We haven't gone beyond the 3,000.
We haven't gone beyond the 3,000 yet.
Yes, not yet.
See, it's only started.
Well, we did last
But we're
year.
touching the 3,000. We're touching it now, so there's no more. we can do.
So I'm just clarifying, the first part of the proposal, 1,000 to 2,000 is passed, the 2,000 to 3,000 is not passed. Yeah, that's fine, that's grand. Yeah, okay.
Sorry, can I make another point, please?
Yes.
When we talk about charity and how we're going to work out how much all of us have to do, are we looking at charity as giving from our excess, or are we looking at it through an award of justice? Because we do. And maybe we need to say, looking at our resources, considering what's in the equity payments, and then what we have to improve loss. And then we're charity as well. Looking at those with less amounts is important. I do have water resistance. Then what proportion of that total value of our income is it just for us to give to charities? From that principle, then should not be decided that we're going to cut the collection as a program or Vincent Hall, then we collect that separately, and after making that decision about a percentage of our overall that is more of a justice issue than a charity issue, then we then add in what we have reached. Say with this one, we're going to do 10% of our overall takings, and we can reach that figure when say 500 short or something. Then we pop up from our savings that's in the consolidated fund. This means that if we're going to stick to our budget about income, we then have to say, well, this means we're going to have to pay back on biscuits, or this means we're going to have to pay back on whatever other outgoing we have. I mean, to me, it seems that this is a more just way, if we're looking at these funds from a community point of view, as opposed to be collective and considering those less fortunate than us. And I don't think we've got to that position yet when we're talking about, majority here, and I just don't understand the conversation at all.
could we set up a little finance committee?
I was thinking that too. And we can ask Patricia to be part of it, holding the
I think what Patricia was saying,
it is thinking.
well, what Patricia was sort of trying, I think what she was saying was that we should be thinking in terms of percentage, that we should be giving a percentage of whatever we take in to charity, that should be our mindset, rather than we have €1,000 or 2,000 or whatever.
Well,
And what is just for us as a group, if we take in a certain amount of money, what would our percentage be?
Bernadette, you already said that you were going to look at a budget.
Yes.
And that will come under all of that. So we're kind of going back over stuff that we agreed, that there is. So now you might need a finance committee, but that's up to the committee to see what's the best way and then bring it back to the community. What's the best way of taking this forward? Because we go into that here, we're going to do here, secularum, and the expertise isn't in all of us either around things like that.
So I suggest we need a policy document on how we manage charity payments.
Now there is a proposal too that the committee would review the constitution in the light of something I'm going to say now. So maybe that could come in under that as well. But the ex officio members are present in the constitution of 3 members. Father John, God rest him, Kieran and Bernadette. And we're at the AGM is going to ask you, are you okay for the moment of making that officially 2 ex officio members, Kieran and Bernadette, for the moment until the constitution is re-looked at? Are people okay with that?
Yes.
And then, Maria?
Well, I said thumbs up.
Thanks. And then there's a proposal that in the light of some of the changes around money there that we spoke about, ex officio members and, you know, just time, that the committee would review the constitution in collaboration with the group and then make a proposal for if there were whatever changes have to be made. And the finance will come on, budget will come in under that as well. And maybe policy document that you're talking about, Paul. So maybe we just have a show of hands to see are people okay with that happening? And that will be the work of the new committee.
That sounds good. Ryan, your hand.
Just clarify what you're asking.
To review the Constitution.
The committee will review the Constitution and bring it to the...
And bring it to the community.
Okay, yes.
Yeah. Okay, I think Zoom we're up already. Thank you. That's fine.
May I go back to the finance thing? If you have a little group working on the finance, I don't know what anyone's financial background is. Would it be good to get somebody, apparently Dimpl's nephew, I first heard of him, has an expertise that it's before it's brought to us that it's passed by an expert accountant.
He is that.
I don't think.
He was the auditor, yeah.
Oh, the auditor.
Perhaps, yeah.
Sorry, Carla, what do you suggest?
I'm suggesting that this is such a minefield, and because finances and all the laws governing finance are changing all the time, that whenever this, our little finance group, if we set it up, have a policy document, that it is scrutinised by the auditor or somebody similar before it's brought to us who haven't a clue what we're talking about.
Well, it makes sense. It makes sense that we would pass it by an auditor before signing off on it.
I suppose it is true that we might not have a clue about money and rules and regulations to do with tax and all that kind of stuff, but we do have a clue about the idea of giving money to charity. I mean, we do have an instinct about that, don't we?
I agree totally. But what I'm saying is there is this other dimension as well of expertise.
Yeah, but the other thing comes on top of that.
I agree, totally.
Totally. Okay.
I think, in terms of finance and that, whatever about it, the important thing is openness and transparency.
Yeah.
Every penny that you put in there is accounted for, and every penny we spend is also accounted for as well. That's the principle.
That's the most important thing.
Yeah.
So can we leave that with the committees to take forward?
Yeah.
That's fine. Thank you.
And I just to say, I think the amount we give to charity is a credit to us. I would approve totally of, in terms of what we're giving to charity. I think it's a good thing.
Yeah. But there's been a lot of suggestions come in that I know has noted, things like maybe it's a percentage of rather than a certain amount.
That's again, the committee will look at that. Yeah. So we're now going to move on to the review of liturgical practice. And at the moment, your practice is co-presenting of the liturgy, faith sharing, a faith-led liturgy. So somebody asked us maybe to have a look at that. And so I'm going to ask you to get into maybe just 3s or 4s and to look at what's going well. When you look at your way of presenting liturgy, what's going well? And what, if anything, would you like to see changed or improved? So just into small groups, just have a conversation on that. The way you're doing liturgy at the moment, what's going well, and is there anything you'd like to see changed or improved? So I know Brian and Irene will be able to set up the groups for Zoom. Yeah, so just where you are in the room, just form natural groups of, I think 4s and 3s, yes. So I'm going to say 15 minutes, max. If you're finished earlier, we'll come back earlier. Yeah. So I'll check with you at 1:45. I'll check in at 1:45 to see how you're going.
I just asked my aunt to marry me what's going to happen. I'm going to be here as much as I can. Does that make sense? I don't feel the need to go relax. So that and I look forward to what's on. I do like it. I like the baby. But to me it's fine. I don't know. It's supposed to be the first of the month. I don't think who's going to do sorry, that's yeah, and don't use any
yeah, and I think that's something that needs to be discussed, trying to bring in training. Okay, so
whether you're a lay letter or whether you're and all those documents that are on ahead, like they're all up there. You can look at the previous subdivision where you're trying to remember. Sorry,
but that's my point.
So there's a memory. Well, you've also done some I was sorry to cover that. Sorry about that.
Done that.
We're not muted.
Microphones in the room are still on. My microphones in the room are still on, so they can hear.
I think we
that's also
doing a service.
especially during this. However, I also look at it as if it's going well, the range of business all around.
Yeah, we could have So there's, so I think I might be on something which says between the roads. I know as well as I'm not sure. Our practice. But I think it's also important to reflect on that practice.
Exploring. He's kind of set on this, getting a
the other person might be right. Not necessarily weird, but if you were to sort of involve in what respect are they holding on to an aspect yeah, and for some people you sort of stick points to right sort of make it but I think
that's how I got it.
The union with the wider circle.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, so we all
not just we practice it, we practice we want to be reflect on that practice, how that might be there's another example
Are you talking about sharing messages that are in chat? Yeah. How do you think they
No, but I think it's something about how we integrate. Equally, there is nobody else. You know, so in a way,
comes down. We do have people on there that come in, that are coming in and out, and they know the difference, and they bring in that richness when they're here. So I think they're doing really well. But I listened this morning, right? But maybe it could be a memory, because I was holding it for a long time. You know, the peace side of things I was holding, whereas now we've got that. It's in maybe the welcome. It was a welcome in here, that they would make sure we don't forget the welcome online as well. They're out there, they're not in here.
And I suggest we put it up as well. The goal of the compromise is to more integrate getting a particular day invited to speak, and the end of the day invited to press.
That's true. I think there's something as well about not only integrating and setting up the invitations. I know, absolutely. I'm saying each one of us take it into our own, even the way you're talking around it. Anybody who's expressing this online if you needed. That would be an easier way to do it. In other words, our own invitation, spacing us to, I think we could continue to keep that in mind.
Do you need more time? How are you going? I don't know really. Enough to feedback? Okay, we'll have a bigger, yeah. How are you going on time? Are you okay to feedback? Yes. Are you ready to feedback?
Maybe something about direct graduates for the...
Okay, so if you're ready, we'll come back together. Yeah, we'll all come back together.
And let you work alongside.
Right. So you can unmute the mic there, I think.
Thank you. Okay.
And you can add us, you can add in.
You ready to come back? Are you ready to come back? Ready to come back? Right now, the Zoomers coming back. Are we okay? Can we come back, please? Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Okay, so let's look at what's going well first. So maybe those online will take feedback from first.
Yes, so we had a good discussion, and the main points that were made here were wanting some sort of guidance on the inclusion of other forms of writing, and Kieran clarified that we must have the gospel in at least one reading, but like we did tonight, be open to having other passages, other poems, whatever we would like to substitute that second reading.
Okay, so there's something, sorry Antonia, just come in for a minute. You're looking at what you'd like to change or improve it, but the question I asked was what's going well?
Oh, what's going well?
You've come to the second question, yeah.
Okay, we'll come back when you want to know what's going
So you've nothing to say about what's going well, have you? That's fine. We'll come back in a minute and we'll come back in a minute. Yeah. So let's hear from the room here. Who'd like to start off? Thanks, Anne. Thank you.
Yes, because we get yin and yang, but I like this thing if you start with what's going well. And again, I think it's still quite new. It's freshness. You have no idea what you're going to, you're going to first on the event, but you don't know how it's going to be presented. You don't know who, you will have sometimes a priest who we're kind of familiar with. Don't forget, they are also allowed to surprise us. We're terrible. They're going to say, well, no, we know we're going to get it, but we don't. But then there's always somebody else, and they definitely bring something different apart from their fear and their trembling, because we're not used to it. But in that fear and trembling, there's an honesty and a vulnerability, and you're willing them all, say. And that's wonderful. They bring their music, their thoughts, and particularly if they're not prepared, in the sense that, to read everything off, but if you bring your vulnerability and have a one line, and there's something about that. I'm bringing you, myself, uncertain in this, honoured to be doing this in conjunction with this person. And they bring their music or their poetry. Somebody brought recently humour. We recently had humour, the one-line humour on a blanket now, And for that, we're very grateful. And that was, for me, that's why it comes, but that definitely was a positive.
So the freshness.
The freshness.
Thank you. Thank you. Any other group like to add to that?
Yeah, I can do it.
We were happy with the
we love. Oops.
Sorry,
Sorry.
come in, I'll come back to you, Catherine.
Yeah,
Sure. Quickly, variety of celebrants. We actually think that that's stretched us and stretching them. The LLL at least once a month. We feel that that's an important development. The supports as the Cobra Centre. There's quite a lot available. The website is well presented, but people are also, we're helping each other to step up. It's really positive. And the website is really good. Thank you, Paul. There's a lot there to support you stepping up. And then Eileen mentioned the Lexio. Why would you come? The Lexio, the way we do Lexio, and then the fellowship, the tea and coffee, are critical pieces to keep us connected.
Thanks.
And of course the tech. We feel that we're working hard to keep integrated with that universal church, but with our feet on the ground. Thank you.
Thanks. Thanks, Irene. Catherine?
Well, we discussed the difficulty with some priests originally, and we decided between us, we said the way we're doing it now seems to be working better, that they have to come here to see how we work and then adapt to us.
Yeah.
The other thing was the lay-led liturgies. We thought they were going very well, and people were stepping up. I don't know where you got the time to discuss all you did. That's not as much as we did.
That's
as much as we did.
Yeah, thanks. And the group here, yeah. You have a piece of paper, so I presume you're feeding back.
Big piece of paper. Only the top. The celebrants, we have celebrants who understand and support us, and we're very appreciative of that. The range of different experiences that are offered to us, we find that great. We talked about the Lexio, and we talked about how that's the heart of it. The sharing, the depth of the sharing, the relief of the sharing, and the inspiration of the sharing, and everything else. And we gave thanks for COVID. Because it was COVID moved us into the small Lexio. In general about the liturgies, we talked about the great variety, the great involvement at all levels, and the preparation, that's part of the liturgy, the coffee is part of the liturgy. We said the social was a continuation of the Lexio, even, in very often. And we said something, inclusivity, that sense of inclusivity, that's really important. And the sense of, we mentioned that Dermot talks about the word exploring, and we are exploring, and that inclusivity and exploring is so synodal.
Thank you. Thank you.
Did I say everything?
Yes.
You
so
did?
So in general, there's a sense that it's going very well. There's freshness, there's inclusivity, there's variety, there's, you're embracing your way and all of that coming through. Now, Julie, we're going to go back to you now for what's not going, so what you'd like to change or improve. And we picked up something about a gospel and another reading maybe from somewhere else. Or you want to just elaborate a bit more now what you were saying?
Yes, don't get me wrong, we agree with all of the things that were just brought up then too. Really, totally agree with them. And I'd like to personally add one more, that the group online, one of the great things that has come out of this is that, in person we meet in separate rooms with different groups each week, but for us, we come together as the same group, and different people come and go, but mostly it's the same. We've become so close and have really been able to support one another, and that's been a real treasure of this coming together online. So no, we were just saying about creativity. somehow we've sort of got into, at the beginning of the Mass, preparing ourselves to enter the liturgy. It doesn't have to be done the same way every time. And today was a real breath of fresh air. And just shared with us a phrase that we could sit with. And John used to do the same. He would take something from the liturgy that week, and just as a reflection to bring us into it, or whether that's just done with music, but be creative about that. Because when we use something different, we're not just relying on the same thing every time. You know, you sit up and take notice. It's good. Anybody in the group want to add anything else? Miss? No? Okay. But no, we agree with all the things that were said. It's been good to have a variety of priests too, and Eucharistic prayers at Dermot have been wonderful. Yeah, it's going well.
What would you like to see improved or changed then? Was there anything you'd like to... You were saying something about a reading at the beginning there, yeah. Oh
no, that was just brought up about having flexibility in the liturgy, in the scripture. Kieran mentioned, we need the gospel in one reading, and then as was today's Mass, you used a different reading for the first reading from somewhere else, a piece of writing. Yeah. So again, to be creative in that as well. But Patricia was asking, maybe we need some guidance about what we can use and what we can't use. Is there any stipulation about that?
Yeah.
So,
thank you very much. Thanks to Group on Zoom. So maybe we'll start here this time.
Okay. Sometimes we have too many words. And we mix between welcoming the variety and sometimes we have too much. So how to balance that? Because if you look back over the leaflets, there's such richness in so many of them, and maybe a bit more silence, opportunities to absorb as we go. And then maybe sometimes forms of embodiment that help us to let the readings start. But on the other hand, the Lectio does a lot of that, But they were the things that we just looked at tending to.
Thank you. Thank you. We'll go over here. We'll go here. Speak back to this group and come back to that. Anything like improved or changed?
I think really our whole thing we kind of discussed was being very careful about who we chose to celebrate with us, to make sure they knew what they were doing because of the debacle we had. And I think we've addressed that.
I think that's just anything else.
Yeah, that's great.
Brian's over there.
Anything else, Brian?
Okay, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
So get your your values and ethos and that
yeah.
Just be aware of that all the time. What about here? Speak back here.
And we spoke about the use of, when I spoke about, and then with different points of view, the use of language. What are we actually doing here? And particularly for me, and I've had a wonderful experience to and here I am, lead, co-lead, co-preside, co-present. And for me, because I'm telling my husband what I'm doing, and when I'm actually sitting behind, well, it's not an altar, it is an altar. When you're trying to explain, for me, language is quite important. And what are the words? And they seem to, other people say, but it's not important. It's just yourself and somebody else. And that's okay too. So I'm open, not to get hung up, but just the use of language, particularly when you are leading the liturgy, as Aaron and Michael did today. So that was one thing to use. And the other thing that came up, but you're going to address it later, is about this idea of going public. We're very, I know we say we're inclusive, but we're a very small, homogenous, aging group. So if somebody was looking at it and saying, well, we're not diverse. We may have very diverse experiences, of course, but we're not diverse as you quickly scan the room. And we shouldn't judge, but that's just the reality. And so this idea of going public, but what does going public mean? And how do we renew ourselves? So that's some area. Am I expressing it correctly?
Yeah, so you're moving into the next discussion. But we're just looking at the third.
Our problem is let's look at the language. Or is it important? Is it important and then look at it?
Yeah. And when you say language, do you want to just elaborate so people, everyone could have a different idea of what that makes?
That's the point. We all do have a different idea of what's happening up there. And maybe that in itself, when one is moving, our way of expressing liturgy is changing, and it's changing in the parish. I can definitely see it, and it's changing here. So maybe when you're moving, language is slow to catch up. And actually, it's a part of the developmental process. But without a doubt, what we do here is unique. It's unique to me. I don't have that. So if I'm trying to explain, I want to use language. But then maybe I have to accept that. What are we doing here? Like, are we putting a label on it? I don't know. I just ask about it because what we're doing is quite exploratory. All right, and it's very rich, but it's new. It's who a lot of the world is. So how we describe it, and do we need people to guide us on how? Okay.
And Irene had to head off, so she apologised. I'm just making a couple of comments on the notes that she took. So a lot of the focus was trying to include the online community a bit more, perhaps, and some particular strategies around that perhaps it would be arranged in advance that a particular reading, the second reading of the Gospel, be taken on board by the online group, and that they undertake to do that reading in advance of the Sunday liturgy.
Every week.
Every week, yes, exactly. Or if that works for them, an invitation to them to do that. And also that the co-presider, who is more familiar with the online community, takes responsibility to be more reaching out to the online community during the service, perhaps maybe during the prayers of intercession and other times. There was also a suggestion as to whether we should share the messages that are often shared on the screen by the group online. That we didn't come to a decision on that, but it was one suggestion. And as I say, that's the main thing, I think. I don't know anybody else. There was talk about being more involved with people online would be a more synodal type of approach. And that would be helpful. Is there anything else that I missed there? Don't think so, no.
Not particularly caught it. There was other stuff that I think that mentioned.
Yeah. To reach out to people, taste and see. Maybe that be individuals in our lives. And I know that's leading into the other conversation about how open do we have this community. But do we say to people we know in our lives, if we can't fully explain linguistically what happens here, that we offer them to come taste and see, and maybe taste and see online. And maybe that could be on the YouTube either. You know, they don't have to even be present physically or online on the Sunday morning, but to directly approach people who we think might benefit or might be enrich us, and we might enrich them.
So what I mean really there's a thing around some meetings, connecting very much to people on Zoom more, so more involved with them, more inclusive with them, and also maybe some guidance and language and understanding of what you're actually doing, and what is okay, appropriate or not appropriate to use in terms of readings and ways of being. So that's really the main points coming through. Otherwise there's great satisfaction with the and also the priests and the choice of the keeping in mind the ethos of government in the city. So we okay to leave that there, and I know the committee members will take that on board when they're having their own meeting as well. It's going to be a very busy committee. And then the last proposal that came, I think it was Sheila, you might say something about it because Sheila's not here. Right, please. About going public.
Yes, we mentioned this before, I don't know if you remember, but Sheila is very keen. But what she feels is that what we get from sharing in our liturgy is so rich that she would love if people in parishes would also have that experience. And she doesn't know how to kind of make that happen in a parish, but she feels that somehow if we went public with what we were doing, and had articles, and she mentioned the Catholic newspapers, for example, if we went public with how we do things and how we share and so on, that this would be nourishing for the people in parishes. And we did talk about it, and we kind of decided that it wasn't a good idea, because we would be misunderstood, perhaps, what we were at, that people might be actually hostile to the way we're doing things, and it might also cause problems for our celebrants, because they're also part of another, hierarchical organisation and so on. As Karen often says, I get enough trips to Rome. I don't need to be called there. I wouldn't be called to Rome, but that. So Sheila has this notion of mission, that we should have a mission, reach out somehow or other, and she has brought it up several times, and we've I responded to her emails and so on, and said, we just don't know how to do it, we don't know how to be accepted. So I said we would bring it up at the AGM.
Which Sheila is this?
Sheila O'Reilly.
S.I. Father Eddie Sheila, is it?
Yes.
S.I. Father Eddie Sheila.
Father Sheila, yeah. That's right.
So I'm going to suggest just go back into your groups and maybe just look 5 minutes, more conscious of our time as well. Start to support us and say to our, we have a little bit to happen, but we need it. Maybe just 5-10 minutes just to go on that, and any ideas or thoughts.
I don't have any ideas on the reservations.
I don't think the people will understand that it's creating something that's very, very about our resources and communications. And we certainly love that our solution and acting.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to join this group for change?
That's how I came.
I'd say one of them.
Just going to
different parts of our practice. Lexio per se is probably co-presiding in liturgies or different matters. Would be more exploratory.
I think we have to
So you replicate our experience starts right.
I don't think it's understood. Certainly it's people will be in detail. There are many it might be some problem
we'll also get a resonance. We've been conscious of communities where treating marriages don't have the tensions of they have service it out is sort of missing something.
That's why you live in sense.
I like your reference there to
Christmas tree. If you remember, there are people that come in Christmas. Somehow not caught between them.
So is this experimental? Exploratory rather than exploratory. Yeah, that's right. I thought I was
I like that, but it is about who was reaching it out. Other than this, personally, it's like
I'm just curious. No, he didn't say.
Because there is that line of growth and starting not giving people more than they're ready for. Because in the early church, I think of how much of the Judaism did he leave behind. The range of food sacrifice nights and well, not that we don't, it's not that I don't think we could go further, but it's, some people need days. Some people haven't thought it through the same way. Haven't been able to you're trying to stretch it out, because there's no concentration to trying to stretch it out.
But I feel like she's on one match with the nice I do feel very strong. I'm terrified. I choose not to use that energy that way. I work on things and I don't want to feel the but I do think and you would have to create that, you know, balance the way I really have an idea that I was because I will ask somebody else. There are people who are background, you know, I don't have any good interest in it. I think we would like this to be you were just for sleep and next year. And I, of course, I would probably choose it as any person who's coming because it's people who might come in and that's and I said, it's gone. And they choose you. So we have to be aware of that. And there are people who are
just 2 minutes and we'll take feedback, okay? Just 2 minutes. Whether or not
that sort of situation, like there was on Wednesday, would there be an appetite for which is a different focus. But it could be enough we could see whether it might resonate on in those parishes.
Well, you could respond could be
So we come back when you're ready? I know you did it, but you're going to be okay with it? We didn't plan to court last night. Okay, let's come back. I've been kind of known. I don't like bells.
Try and do that myself.
Okay. Have you gone into the online group, Brian? Or we take the batch first? Okay, let's come back together.
That's right, you
Well, I must say that discussion has certainly brought a bit of energy. Okay, so Miriam, we'll start with you this time.
Yes, so I'll make a couple of points and then the others can chip in because they spoke more eloquently. There was a risk of being censored either for ourselves or for the priests who might attend here if we go more public, and also the Benildus community. That was a concern that things might be misinterpreted and it could somehow have negative impacts. There were suggestions that we emphasise the Lectio aspect of the services, querying whether to reach out to the population who are on the Tarsus groups, who may already have quite a focus on Lectio. And I don't know who's in the Monday evening groups here, the Lectio groups, but again, that's another model of Lectio as being integral to Orla. And then maybe to outreach to parish offering support with Lectio and an invitation to attend Orla to get support to learn more about what we do. But there may be more. No, that's fine, you said.
I think maybe just one point that Brian mentioned, or the reference he made, that this is a Lectio-centred worship. And I thought that was an important concept. Because when Sheila did bring this up at the committee, I was saying, well, what is it we will be inviting people to hear? And I think that's the way Brian put it, I thought was very strong, that we're a Lectio-centred worship. We're not, as Dermot mentions, exploring new ways. Part of that, the exploring comes out of our Lectio-centeredness.
So you're saying you could offer that to the parish
Yeah.
and invite people into that. Yeah.
You could invite, and then you could say to a parish, look, this is how we've grown, and if you want to send 2 or 3 or 4 people a week along to us, they can experience and then go back and support you in developing it with you.
And maybe particularly when the communion services come in a few days a week parish.
Yeah, yeah.
May I just ask Paul something?
Of course.
Greystones. There was supposed to be a suggestion that would have some people from Greystones to be part of...
No, they wanted us to go to them and teach them. And it never, there's a change of personnel, that's gone now anyway, but they wanted us to go to them, which is quite a challenge. I'm suggesting that we would invite them to send people to us, not necessarily a Greystones, but whatever. They would come to us and we would intentionally include, if we include any of it, that we'd intentionally make sure that they got different experiences of the different groups and so on, so that they've got a way of learning how to read Lexio. But the Greystones wanted us to go to send people.
I thought they were going to come to us as well.
No, they wanted us to send.
Okay. Fine.
Okay, thank you. So we'll take the group over here and then we'll go on to the Zoom group. Yeah.
I was going to say that is the service not on YouTube already?
It is, yeah.
So that's it's in the public domain, that it came off the Lexio.
You just have to happen across it.
Yeah,
So
but I would have questions, and I've said it to Paul before. I have questions about it being up on YouTube. The online is a totally different thing. But if somebody stumbled across, you'd have to stumble across it, I agree. But if you Google Orly, you'll come across it.
It is.
And if you had some people went into some of our liturgies, I'm not sure that it's such a good idea to have it. It's no problem sharing it with somebody that you know is searching, but somebody who is kind of a more destructive presence. I have questions about that. The YouTube.
Yeah. And I haven't done it in a while now, I will actually do it. I do delete them. I only keep a month out there usually.
Right.
But it's still, you're right. And I have just been, once or twice I've removed or hidden one of them because of something that was raised here or whatever. I just felt it wasn't appropriate that it was generally available.
Yeah.
But no, they sit there and you're right, they're accessible. And there's about 40 or 50 people view them over time.
Yeah, and you hate them not to be able to, but
maybe we could revert to the practice of the primitive church and dismiss people after their service.
Okay, let's come back to the group over here to see what you said about, Sheila's proposal to go connect.
We thought it wasn't a good idea because we thought it might get some of our priests that are working with us into trouble. And people know if they want to come, they can come. What else was we just felt that...
Yeah, putting them into maybe an awkward position, the people, the celebrants who do come, perhaps it'd be
unfair. Because the church, as we know it now in Dublin, is so conservative, it's gotten worse. So you can't open your mouth. Like, I work in our parish, a volunteer, but I noticed that even everything is so rigid now, much more rigid than it was years ago. So what are they going to do if they know? There's no way that, I don't think any of them would dip their toe in the water. The only thing I can say is about my friend Joe who came. Do you remember my friend Joe who came to observe us? He's not able to do it with us, but he just thought that the group was very old. To encourage younger people, you'd want to get more younger people involved with us for it to keep continuing. He said it was lovely and very spiritual enough, but everybody was very old. Now he's only 10 years younger than me.
I mustn't be here that I mustn't be here that week.
That was his point.
Oh, sorry. On the online.
No, I'm going online after this group are finished. Yeah. So you hadn't anything else to say, but you're just not in favour of it. Was the basic? Yeah, that's fine.
We might invite somebody personally to come and one-to-one to come along and experience it. That'll be as far as we would go.
Correct. That's fine. So we're going to Zoom group.
Where's Kieran?
Here. You're speaking on behalf of the group, are you? Yeah.
I have my hand up. Look, if anybody came to our group, I think they would notice that it is a Catholic group. So we follow the Roman Missal and we follow the lectioner. However, we don't use the standard translation for either. We don't use the standard translation for Roman Missal or the Collect, and we use different translations for the readings, being a bit unhappy with the original Jerusalem Bible. I think those two features would cause a lot of trouble, and if somebody wanted to create some kind of noise about it, and it would be, if people's attention were drawn to what we were doing, I think you would feel the need to shut us down, I would say, because we're just not following exactly. I'm happy not to follow exactly, because otherwise how the liturgy developed and so on, it has to have some sort of growth possibility. You can't just simply descend from somebody's desk. I think the other features that we do, such as co-presenting, I think that would be unproblematic. I think the lectio participation, the readings after, that would also be unproblematic, I think. You could defend it. But I think the way we do especially the Eucharist would be tricky, and I would be in favour of taking down YouTube videos, to be honest with you.
Anything else in your group that you want to feedback? Yeah. Thanks a million, Kieran. Thank you. Are you trying to? Are you muted? Can't hear you.
Sorry about that. Another thing we brought up, and we brought it years ago in groups about going into parishes, and it could be maybe suggesting, maybe we could suggest in parishes giving the introductions to the readings like we've done with them over the years with Karen and John. And that could be a small start. We could use that maybe in parishes. Yes, as we were saying, and Tony was saying, Lexi would be hard in parish, in the parish situation. I don't know if that would be an option, And Kieran, you agree with that, don't you? That would be good to give introductions.
As it happens, my weekly notes are appearing in the Irish Catholic. My weekly notes, the full set of notes is appearing, including introductions to the Sunday and weekly readings. So that's, in a sense, available, and people would just make use of it.
Thank you. And we have two more groups I think to hear from here. No, just one group. Here. So are you reporting back again? Yeah.
Just before we start, I'll give my personal opinion. I'm very nervous about something being up on YouTube. I thought once or twice people were praying and they didn't realise what they were saying, and it just takes the wrong person. So I think we need to look at that, particularly in the modern age of technology and AI. I really do. So that's just a personal thing, we didn't discuss it. Going public, we agreed not the written word, absolutely. Some things are not describable in the sense of you getting an experience, and written word, or even we were talking about language, you don't describe it, well, you have to come and experience. So we felt organically it was best, that using our contacts and bringing in people so it's slow. But we're aware that we are a particular age group. And yeah, we're very aware of that and we don't know how to change that. Anything else, Carmel, do you have anything to say?
Well, two things I'd like to say. One is, as well as being a Lectio-centred liturgy, I feel we're more than that. It is the Eucharist. It's a Eucharistic liturgy 3 Sundays in the month. And Lectio is very important. But it is Eucharistic as well as the Scripture. And I can only speak personally. When Diarmuid O'Murrough said to us that he was going to use a Eucharistic prayer which highlighted the fact that the consecration of the bread and wine wasn't when the priest said, "This is my body, this is my blood," but when the community, as community, with the priest, together called on the Holy Spirit to come down on the bread and wine. That was the consecration. Well, I was walking on air when after that, and I walk on air when I realised that. I don't know if anyone else had that experience. And he held us together. He explained it very well, and he said, we are not experimenting here, we are exploring. And he's writing a book on reworking the tradition of the church. And I've heard him several times give talks on the first 3 centuries, before the Roman Empire came and the patriarchy. And what was happening in the first 3 centuries is very like our present situation. Little groups springing up all over the Mediterranean, trying to follow Jesus without an imposed weight of canon law and all that stuff, and afraid. I wonder, are we giving in too much to this fear? We have to be as cunning as serpents, I know, but anyway. But that this is the future of the church now. It's going to be little groups springing up all over the place. And I'm wondering, people may not agree with everything that Diarmuid O'Murrough says. He may be too this or too that or to the other, but by God, he knows what happened in the early church.
Carmen, I suppose what we're looking at in this proposal is, do you go public? You know, I know it's a very interesting conversation, but I'm conscious of our time. It's half 2.
I think what I'm trying to say is, I think we need education before we can go public. That we are convinced of the importance of what we're doing, and that we have the language, so that if somebody says, "Well, you're experimenting," that we have the word, we're exploring, etc., etc., etc. Sorry.
Right. Yeah, no, I'm sorry for cutting you off. I'm just conscious of our time as well, that we have to,
So sorry, Mary, very briefly, I'd just like to echo what Carmel said. I think we're moving beyond just being Lectio is fantastic. We're not purely Lectio-based. I think we are open to moving in a different direction as well. Yeah.
What I'm hearing, that you don't want to get shut down, but also maybe to have some education or more information around how you can actually present yourselves in a way that doesn't happen, in a way that's sort of within the confines, if you like, and I think Kieran was saying something around that too, what is okay and what isn't okay. So maybe if that's a discussion to take forward again before you even think about, but right now, it is a sense that we're not going to go public right now, but it might need education and development to do that.
We didn't feed in yet, but we really said the same. We said, I suppose a couple of key things that came across. We already are a very inclusive community, and anybody who comes or anybody who we know, we would feel very free to welcome and to bring them. And Jesus' words, "Come and see." But I mean, he didn't say that to everybody, he said that to the ones who came and wanted to see.
Just a couple of seconds. a number of people mentioned YouTube, so I'll clean up the YouTube channel, get rid of the very old ones, and I'll hide the others. There's a value in keeping some, so I'll hide them so that they're not generally, nobody can find them by accident.
Yeah.
And we'll get, in future we'll hide them straight after each liturgy. I'll hide them. We'll arrange it, they're hidden. They're still there. You'd have to contact me or somebody to say, how do I see the liturgy from 3 weeks ago?
Yeah.
That'd be great. That would be good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So thank you very much. I'm going to hand back to Bernadette to close off your AGM officially. And it was lovely being back with you. Thanks, Amelia.
Thanks, Mary.
And thanks to everyone on Zoom as well.
Well, just to say thank you very much, Mary. You have given us lots of food for thought.
You've given each other food.
Of course. We have surfaced a lot of food for thought. I certainly wanted to honour Sheila's instinct that we need to be missionary in some way. As we've been discovering, it's just hard to know how we do that. Kieran has got all his notes in the Irish Catholic. I mean, that's a big step forward, isn't it? So people who know that, who've been to Orla, I mean, lots of people have been to Orla for retreat days or for one-off talks or whatever. I mean, they're going to recognise that's Kieran, and maybe somebody might say, I wonder where he's saying Mass these days, and they might find their way to us. But I'm not sure that we can do much more than that at this moment in time, unless we come up with some brainwave. Anyway, thank you very much for coming. I think it has been very worthwhile, and we will get the minutes and we will have further discussions about all that was said. And thank you, Mary, very much for giving your time to us and for steering us through this process, which, as you know, we can get sidetracked very easily because we're not short on talkers, people who want to talk. We hope you'll come and visit us again sometime whenever you're free to do so. Just to say, for example, the outreach, the Lectio notes that we use on a Monday night, we have put them at the back of our church. They're available during Lent. They'll be available during Lent for anybody who comes to Mass in the Augustinian Church in Ballyboden. Our Lectio notes are there at the back of the church. I don't know if it's something that any of you might want to do for your own parishes.
They're on the website every week as well, so if you just point your parish to the website.
Exactly. Even a little line in it, or whatever. So I mean, there are ways of trying to get things across if we really put our mind to it. But then people have to be open and receptive. We can't do anything about that. We can just invite them. No. So thank you again, Mary. Thank you very much. We'll go home for our roast.
Bye, everybody online.
Thanks for taking the minutes, Rob.
Yes.
No easy matter.
No easy matter.
Thank you. And for all the 10 people who have to put away the stuff now.
Oh, yeah.